everybody. Paul Lewis again from Arrow Tower by Lewis Innovations. So today what I'm going to be doing with the aeroponic system, one thing you want to do is you want to always be starting new seeds, because you're going to have plants that maybe die or you just know that they're not going to perform. In the case of lettuce plants, you might have some that are bolting. I had a situation, I have been trying a smart plug on the unit here behind me, and I'm finding that the smart plugs, I've tried several different varieties, and they're not as reliable as what I'd like them to be. What happened is yesterday morning, about 1:30 in the morning, the pump quit. And it wasn't that the pump quit, it's that the smart plug stopped turning on the pump and turning it off as often as it was supposed to. So the plants had no water from about 1:30 in the morning until about 10:30 when I came out and discovered what had happened. So this tower behind me, what I've got two towers. They were planted out with seedlings about 2 weeks apart. So the ones on the far side are 2 weeks older than the ones here. So the ones on the far side, I've already harvested a crop of leaves off of them. And what I do is I harvest the crop of leaves, I let them grow for another 2 weeks, harvest another crop, and then decide on whether or not I'm going to replace those plants or let them try to get a third crop off of them. But the ones on the tower closest to me, being they were started later, they were all smaller plants. And I think what happened is because they did not have as large of a root system, that they did not have as much water on the roots, or moisture retained on the roots. So when the water stopped, they're the ones that really suffered, and they were wilted. I didn't think there was any hope for them, but I quickly got the water turned back on, and most of them, as soon as they got water, came right back to life, and away we go. But there's some that you just know that they're not going to do well. Okay, so I think I've got about 9 spots open, and these are lettuce seedlings. These were started 2 weeks ago, okay? And these were started in my dripping water here, in my garage, under the grow lights, or under the sun blaster lights, with the heat mat underneath. And look at the roots coming out the bottom, okay? That's what you want to see. So what I need to do is I need to separate out about 9 plants. So there's 2. Now, although all these cubes were seeded, for one reason or another, not all of them grew, okay? So the ones that didn't grow, the cubes that didn't grow, I just set them aside, and I will reseed those cubes next time I'm starting some seed. I love how these plants look. I've tried a lot of different methods to starting seed, and doing it the way I'm doing it now is far, far superior than any of the other methods I had tried. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's 9. Okay, so we'll put those back in there. And again, as you can see, they all have dandy root systems on them. That's really what you want to see. Now, when I plant seeds, I've been putting in 2 seeds per spot. Now, having 2 plants, if they're fighting against each other for nutrients and so on, they're not going to do that well. You get much more of a yield if there's only 1 plant per port. So what you do is, I got to see how many plants are in here. So if I push up on the bottom, I can actually push it out and see exactly what I've got. Okay, so I've got 2 seedlings in here. So I'm just going to pull one of them out. Okay, so there I've got just 1 seedling in that. So I need to do that with all of these. Okay, this one's got 2, so we'll pull out one of them. And typically what you want to do is you want to pull out the smallest. Leave the largest and the strongest one. Okay, so like this one here, there's a nice dandy big plant and there's a little one beside it. So we're going to pull out that little one. Now what I have done in the past, sometimes I'm in need of a few more plants, a few more seedlings than what I have. So these ones that you pull out, what you can do is you can take a sponge cube, slit it, insert it into it, and those will grow, okay? Now I'm not being careful with these. I'm actually pulling on the stems to pull these out. But if you pull them out carefully by tugging on a leaf, you're not crushing that stem and they will grow for you, okay? So what do we got in this one? Okay, we've got like, it looks like I've got 3 in this one. And you'll notice I've got all different colors. So I've got about 60 different varieties of lettuce. And I like the green, but I also like the ones with the red on them, like the red leaves, the red spots on the leaves. Basically any variety of lettuce that I can find, I will buy it and I'll grow it. I like the variety. I like the different textures. I love the way that they perform on the tower. They are so beautiful when you get them all growing. Okay, so those plants are ready to go. So we're ready to start inserting them. So a couple of ways of doing this, okay? You can use net cups and you can put these right into a net cup and then insert them in. But I find that these towers, first of all, the net cups are so deep that you can't put 2 net cups back to back, or it doesn't work very well. So what I do is I buy the pool noodles from Dollarama, and I've got a jig that I put them in, and I cut them with a knife so they're about 3/4 of an inch thick, okay? Then I put a slot in them so they'll open up. And so what you do is you open it up, and I've got some wicking material here. Now, I've only been using the wicking material, I would say, the last 3 or 4 times that I've planted seedlings, and I find it works so much better, okay? When the plants are small, it can sometimes be hit or miss if the water gets to where the roots can get it. Now, these plants are actually, I don't know if I'd even need the wicking material on these because the roots are doing so well on these plants, but I'm going to put it in anyway. So you put in a strip of your wicking material, set your plant on it, and then just close it up, okay? And that's ready to be inserted into the tower. So we'll go through and we'll do the rest of these. And it doesn't matter if it's lettuce or peas or beans, like when you're putting them into the towers. They're all pretty well done by the same means. The wicking material, what I do is I cut it into strips. It comes in like 100, 200 foot lengths. And I cut it into pieces, usually about 4 or 5 inches long. That's all you need just to catch the water as it may be going by and deliver it to the sponge and to the roots. What you'll find is that with the wick being wet, if you look at these in about a week or so, you'll see that the roots have actually wrapped themselves around the wick to take advantage of that water being there. Okay. So I am so pleased with how these plants are doing. Like this one's got, it's got the original leaves from seeding, and it's got it's got 3 sets of leaves besides, and that's about 2 weeks that they've been in the starter out in the garage. And you'll see the plants are not spindly. They're doing phenomenal. Okay, I've got an extra sponge. Okay, so they're all ready to be inserted into the tower. So let me just spin the camera here. Here, let me pause. Here we go. We're going to now insert these into the tower. So what I do is, where the slit is, I put that at the top of the port. And if you put in the top, about halfway in, slide the bottom in, then you can run your fingers around it and it'll seat in there nicely. Okay, so we'll do this one. There we go. And one over here. One down here. The last 3. So there we are. The seedlings are all been transplanted, and they've all been put into the towers. Okay, so let's give you a quick look at this other tower over here. Looks very, very good. Up at the top, I've got parsley and I've got catnip. We've got several cats in the house, and they love the catnip. In the summertime, I find with 2 or 3 big plants, the catnip can't keep up to the demand from the cats. Inside, I think I've got like 3 plants, and it's unreal how these things produce. the cats can't keep up to them. So that's a good problem to have. They've obviously got catnip. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye for now.